Mesh is one of the most frustrating materials when it comes to cleaning, only second to suede. I know that there are a lot of cleaning products out there, I assume, that can do a much better job at cleaning than this method. But if for one reason or another you just rather not spend the money on the products, or you don't like buying stuff online, or you just live in a country where buying online items can be a pain from the tax department like me, then this video is for you. So as a disclaimer, the method I'm using is for sneakers that are either fully meshed or meshed with leather. If your sneaker has both mesh and suede, which was very uncommon until the Yeezy lines, then I recommend you use special products and a lot of prayers. The suede can only be properly cleaned with special products. Like, whether you notice it or not, a single drop of water does discolor your suede. Also, the technique I'm using is to clean off general dirt from everyday wear, such as whether you play sports, someone steps on your shoe, or an average dog owner. This method may or may not work for tough stains. I am unsure. I had never actually stained any of my mesh sneakers in my life, so I admittedly have zero experience with stains on mesh. So with that being said, let's get into it. So for this demonstration, I'll be using a pair of Air Max 90s from 2017s that I wear quite regularly. The three materials you will need is 1. A toothbrush, 2. White toothpaste, and 3. Dry cloth or paper towel. I want to emphasize that it must be a white toothpaste, because if you're using a colored toothpaste such as blue or one of those, that aqua toothpaste, I don't remember what it's called with its 3 colors, you actually do risk discoloring the fabric on your sneakers. The towel plays an important role, as what it does is prevent the inside of the sneakers from getting soaked while you clean. If the sneaker gets too soaked on the inside, it won't really do any damage to the sneakers, but you run the risk of the sneakers smelling really bad from your feet. It's pretty much impossible to not get any water inside your shoes while cleaning, but as long as you don't have a pond in there or something, you don't want an ecosystem living in your shoe. So once you got your cloth or your paper towels ready, you want to start off by wetting the mesh a bit before applying the toothpaste. The key here is to keep brushing until the suds starts coming out. You may find that there's little to no suds in the beginning, but that's because mesh has multiple layers. What's happening is that the toothpaste is slowly dripping down to the bottom. Just make sure that the mesh stays damp and apply more toothpaste if need be until you see suds on top. You can brush it any way you want, but I recommend starting with a circular motion before going a bit crazy on the dirty spots. Just remember that the more suds, the better it's going to clean. Notice how I don't care much about how much water I apply to the outside of the shoe, but at the same time I use my towel to make sure not too much water gets inside. So don't worry about how much water you use as long as the inside of the shoe isn't soaked. Rinse and repeat the process until you're satisfied with the look, but keep in mind that the sneaker will be more white once you rinse all the toothpaste out. This is because during cleaning, although the dirt is off of the fabric, they still linger in the suds. Do this for all areas with mesh. The tongue is a lot easier to clean than the rest of the upper due to its ability to be pulled out. Again, no change to the technique. The only difference is that it's now a lot easier, as you don't have to worry about water getting in the shoe, as well as squeezing the water out of the tongue. It's also a lot easier, as you can see in the video. Once you're done rinsing, make sure you get as much water out as you can before actually air drying it. I do recommend doing this during peak sunlight, as the faster it dries, the better it's going to be. But don't throw them in the dryer unless you know what you're doing. I've had people that wash their sneakers and throw them in the dryer before selling it to me, and man, that was some major foot fungus action going on. So make sure you air dry your sneakers outside, and put either a new paper towel or a dry cloth inside of the sneaker so that it can absorb the remaining water that's dripping out of the sneaker. And also make sure you want to check up on the sneaker maybe half an hour to an hour after you dry them outside, just to make sure if you need to replace more paper towels or another cloth so that the sneaker doesn't get too wet. When you feel that there's no more water dripping out of the sneaker, just remove the paper towel completely and just let it dry as is. And here are some before and after shots of the sneaker. Remember guys, if the result is not to your satisfactory, you can always rescrub it again and again. With that being said, make sure you know the difference between dirt and age. If the sneaker has a yellow tint from natural aging, there's nothing really you can do about it besides paint or maybe bleach. I personally do not like to use any non-sneaker substances on my shoes due to risk of damaging them. The only thing I use is soap or water. If I can't clean it with soap and water, I just leave it be. You can wear a dirty sneaker, but you can't wear a broken one. Thank you for watching the video.